This is also something that novel writers deal with, about inputting backstory in an effective way. So how did you approach that? Did it just come naturally to you in the writing of, where, oh, here I am in this place, it seems right to go back? Or did you have note cards that with your different scenes and wove them in? That I'm really curious as to how you wove your backstory in, because it's beautiful. It's beautifully done. It's seamless.
I'm a writing practice writer. That is, I really allow whatever it is I'm writing about. I trust the page. I trust the pen. And I try not to think too much about what I want to say. I just allow it to come. And so, because memory is a connector kind of thing, that's what it does. It connects this to that to that. And so, if I'm writing about something that I see an interaction, and I'm writing about that interaction, and a picture of how I was with my father, or how I was with my mother, or my sisters and I, or certainly Tom. And so I would just trust it and put that together. And that's why from when I finished the first draft in 18, the book was not published until 23. Because I had to really then shape it and how it went. And a lot of mine also had to do with dates. For example, I'm in Paris at Christmas time, and so one of my flashbacks would be when my first date with Tom, which was the day after Christmas in 1978. And so those kinds of things would play back and forth too, yeah.
So much of what we do, what I do as an editor, but also what I've talked to writers about for so many years is, especially with memoir, but with all writing, we shape a book by what we leave out. We don't shape it by how much we put in, right? Because you can put in 100,000 words, right? You could put in your whole life told day by day. But how you shape that is, as Michelangelo says, you take the marble away and leave the statue that was inside the rock all along, right? So you, by taking away the things, and it was so wonderful to have an editor who would say to me, okay, I know you know this, Jennifer, but I think, you might want to leave out this thing that really has nothing to do with the story you're telling. I love that chapter, though. It's about music, and she kept coming back to it, and I would cut away, and I'd keep cutting, or I'd change it, and eventually, okay, Deanna, I'm cutting it. It's going away. But the kill your darlings part. Yeah. Just because you love something doesn't mean it furthers the story. So it's that constantly trying to, tomorrow morning we'll talk about this in Pitch Witches, but it's the whole idea that you have to know what your story is about. Mm-hmm. But then as you're writing it, that story that you're writing changes.
Yes.
Wow. So I didn't know I was writing an origin story of a writer.
I didn't either.
It was a secret to me. And Judy's was a secret to her. We were both thought we were writing travel books and memory books and books about love.
Travel noir is the
travel noir.
Yes.
Yeah, travel noir, But we both were actually writing books that were origin stories of how we became writers. So we discovered that apparently together.
Yeah. And that thing too about taking out and taking away, I had a structure in my mind when I finally got that far along, that between every different country that I went to, I would always have a journey, whether it would be on a train or a ferry or something. And I had one particular, this is a story on you as editor. This is what she does, if you all everybody can editor. So because it had to be there, and on my pages what she writes is, this is vague to the point of boring. I love that so hard. Well, okay, because what happened? How I can't believe I wrote that. I loved it. I honestly did, because I had to look at it and say, I was so intent on having this structure that I wasn't allowing the way what the story of it was there. And I did rewrite it, and left it in, and it wasn't boring anymore.
Specificity.
Specificity, and it was also very short.
Short specificity.